welcome to Morning Pulse, the pulse of Nigerian politics right here on Active Citizens. My name is Sharon Enemchuku and I'm your host for the show. Joining me live in the studio, I have with me my co-host, person of Ifoma Oji. Good morning, how are you doing?
Good morning, Sharon.
How are you doing? It's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Thank God. And also joining us live in the studio, we have our analyst in person of Mr. Daniel Sacramento. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. We're going straight to the stories that we have for today. We are examining two major political statements making waves in the country. Vice President Kashim Shettima reportedly stated that the Igbo community are major stakeholders in the Nigerian project, and that a significant portion of Abuja's properties are owned by Igbo people. The comment has triggered reactions, questions, and fresh debate on national unity, inclusion, and economic influence. In another development, the Vice President also described Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma as the Victor Osimhen of the APC party, praising his role and influence within the party. This comparison has raised political eyebrows and sparked conversation on party dynamics and internal politics. But before we start, we'll look at a video from the economic summit held in Imo State just yesterday, and then we'll return back to the studio.
It's fantastic to be here. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ably represented by the Vice President, distinguished Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, all other distinguished guests, Prime Ministers, President,
distinguished Imo leaders, stakeholders, and dignitaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The last time I was in Owerri for the plaque-up of the 2025 Hajj exercise, I described him as the goalkeeper, defender, the midfielder, ambitious attacker in the mold of Victor Osimhen of the APC. Little wonder that Mr. President has appointed Governor Hope Uzodinma, the hope of the nation, as the #1 ambassador of the renewed hope agenda. And today, like the man of many parts and capacities that he exemplifies, he has, as a luminary, economic strategist, transformational leader, sage, and visionary governor, gathered us in this beautiful southeastern state of Imo for the Imo State Economic Summit. Governor Hope Odidika Uzodinma, I doff my hat for you.
The VP Kashim Shettima, and I just wanted to get our reactions because there's a whole lot that happened during that summit, a whole political heavyweights that attended the event, honored the invitation from Governor Hope Uzodinma. But I'm starting with you, Ifoma. Let's get your take on exactly the entirety of that event, but also coming from the statements made by VP Shettima, the Igbos being the greatest stakeholders nationally.
Well, we can't take away the fact that Igbos are go-getters. Igbos, they say when you go to a particular state or a country and you don't see an Igbo man there, run away.
Your VP also added outside. If you don't see the outside, you should run
I'm
away.
talking about Igbo people right now. They have this innovative mindset. They are always there to, strive no matter the stones that are being thrown at them, which for me is quite, commendable and remarkable. But as regards to what the Vice President said, it's more like, for me, all these things are just political propaganda. All these things are just a way to scoop the Southeast closer to the government ahead of 2027 election. It's just you're praising one man, but at the same time, how many people are in government positions or government seats? How many of the Igbos are in government seats? I love the fact that he acknowledged the prowess of Igbo people. But why is it that over the years, the same Igbo people have been complaining of being sidelined, have been complaining of why is it that you people are not including us in government policies? It's the same Igbo people you are coming to, because you know that in 2027 you still need them to win elections. You are now coming to come and pet them on the back or to water the ground for yourself against 2027. For me, all these things are just political optics and not merely genuine statements.
So you think they're just political optics? Mr. Daniel Sacramento, I'll be coming to you now. What is actually your take on that statement made by our VP?
Well, he stated the obvious fact about the Igbos. You can't talk about the globe, the whole world, without the Igbo race. It's a gift God has given to the Igbo people to, we are very industrious. Some people call us the Israelites. That we are descendants of the Israelites because we turn small thing into great thing. So it's a statement of facts that he says that Igbo are the bedrock of investments and talking about the rising of any nation. It is it's imperative that you talk about the Igbos. It's only an Igbo man that goes into an interior rural area and then there into an urban setting. That is a gift given to us by God, and that's the gospel truth. Now talking about Hope Uzodimma, well, we would say he has done well. We would give him kudos. He said he's the Victor Shimon of APC. Well, that's the truth, and he has done well for himself because he grew steadily, and it wasn't so palatable for him all the while he's been in power. He has a lot of controversy surrounding his emergency as the governor of Imo State, where he was fourth in line, and from fourth he became the governor. Although it was due to technicalities in the law court. And since then he faced insecurity squarely, and he has been fighting them up to date. He has really done well for, and there's been a lot of development that will be credited to him. And this economic summit that he just did yesterday is a very massive one for the Imolite. Yeah, it was a massive one, having the former president of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson there. So it's already a very massive one. It shows a man that has been stable, in as much as he has been in a very in the deep sea, but he has been stable, trying to make things work
out of something.
Yes, and being the leader of the Southeast APC governors, he has done well for himself, and I think that's why the VP is saying that he is the Victor Shima, because he knows, he says he's a player. So he has played his game and has been able to stabilize the Imo State economy and everything, and maybe stabilize the insecurity that has been bedeviling the whole of Imo State. So kudos.
So kudos to the governor of Imo State. Now we are going to take a look at the just a speech by the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, person of Boris Johnson, and then we'll get back to the studio.
It's fantastic to be here, Your Excellency, Mr. President, ably represented by the Vice President, distinguished Governor, Senator Hope Uzodimma, all other distinguished guests, Prime Ministers, Presidents, ex-Prime Ministers, politicians of all kinds. Governor Hope, you've been too successful in your summit today. I can't recognize everybody. I simply can't. I wouldn't do justice to the stellar cast that you have assembled. But as soon as I was told there was a chance of coming to Imo State, as soon as I was told there was a chance of coming to Owerri, I was so excited, and I wanted to come, and I was very fascinated. This is a true story. 2 days ago, I was in the Gulf. I won't say which city it was, but it was a full, it was a conference about investment, about global investment, and there were some huge high rollers there, some big players. I'm not saying as rich as some of the people in this room, because there's some very rich people in this room. But there was one particular guy who had tens of billions, many tens of billions of dollars. I was sitting next to him, and he was telling me he had so many homes in Malibu now, he can't even, he has not enough family to put in them. They're empty. He has so many private jets that he flies with 2 jets at a time, wherever he goes. 2 private jets, because, one of them might break down, or the other one might run out of peanuts in the minibar or whatever. He has 2. Anyway, this guy's astonishingly successful, brilliant global investor, tens of billions, American. And everybody was listening to what he had to say, like the scene in Trading Places. You remember when they're all waiting to hear what Eddie Murphy is going to say the next stock, and we were waiting to hear what he had to say about the future.
We just saw that video from the ex-Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, just addressing the people in attendance at the summit. So this summit is supposed to hold for 2 days, started yesterday, would continue today, and they had a whole lot of heavyweight politicians in attendance. We had the VP, Kashim Shettima, ex-Prime Minister, who made, the video we just saw. One of the things that he said that has trended as well was the fact that from the 9 kids that he has, and the fact that Nigeria just in 2025 had 8 million kids. Having children, according to him, is not the solution, right? He said we need to really invest economically and just broaden out when it concerns the economy that we run in Nigeria. But I'm coming to you, Ifoma, like you rightfully said, what the VP said is not far from the truth. But we've also seen a marginalization of the Igbos from the ruling power, from the powers that rule Nigeria. So I'm just asking, do you think that from what the VP said, do you think that maybe he is coming from the point of view that the Igbos are more needed economically to build the economy of Nigeria and not politically?
Yes, he knows the strength of Igbo people when it comes to economic development, and that is why, like I told you earlier, that he's trying to pat Igbos. But see, why are they preventing this secession of the Igbos? Because they know the importance of the Igbos when it comes to the economic growth. You understand? So that is why they refused for Igbos to separate from the entire, Nigerian. And I've been saying this over the years. I've been saying it all the time that I've been discussing this. If you don't want to include Igbos in your political decisions, let them go. It's as simple as that. But let me just make quick comment on the video that we just watched. Boris, the former Prime Minister of UK. Now, some people will ask in the comment section, how much was he paid to give such a speech? And some people will say that even the people that are seated cheering him on don't even know what he was saying, because he had this American accent. This UK accent. Now, this goes a long way to tell you that it's all depends, or it's all the interest at the end of the day, how much you get to determine the effort you're going to put into any work or any speech that you are to give. Now, this person now, you don't know how much he's being paid, just like Nigerians are saying right now, to give such a speech, because we know about how the international bodies have been complaining of the genocide attack in Nigeria, and how even the US is saying that the US president is calling Nigeria now a disgraced, country, that he will come in guns are blazing and he will make it swift and sweet. You understand? So you could see that it's the things that they are benefiting that will probably change how they approach Nigeria, or rather the way they talk when they are in public about Nigeria. Now, let me talk about how he was talking about how the population of Nigeria. Now, you can't keep on increasing the population of Nigeria Nigeria or be, proud of how populous Nigeria is without thinking about developing the country. When you keep on increasing the numbers of people in Nigeria, what you're doing is to plunge more people into poverty without even bringing anything positive economically to help those children that you are bringing forth to the world. So I think the focus right now should be on growing the economy, more development, more government policies that will benefit every life of Nigerians living in Nigeria and not
Mr. Daniel Sacramento, we also saw the likes of Dangote at that summit yesterday, and he came out to say that Nigeria is like a scratch card, right? That you won't get value until you scratch it. And we had a lot of other people who came to give out their speeches as well. But I'm just asking, moving forward, let's talk about the Igbo's place in governance and economically. How do you think there has been a development when it concerns seeing more engagement from the Igbos in politics?
Okay, the truth about it is that the Igbos are doing everything. We have been in the fair politics before the Biafra war came and destabilized our relationship and destabilized the region. But it didn't take us time, and we built up and became who we are today. And that discrepancy has been there, in as much as the discrepancy has been there between us and the center. The truth about it is that we ourselves have not really galvanized ourselves together. Having a one voice like other regions normally do, to become a moving force, to become a very formidable force, to be able to, come to limelight. Although a lot of steps have been taken in place, like the newly inspired and the House of Assembly, the House of Rep and the Senators came together to present two more states, in as much as to have equality with other regions. At least they're beginning to understand that we can't become a force if we don't come together to have a very, very formidable force. So definitely, yesterday the governors and the governors had yesterday they had a meeting in Enugu and with some other senators to present two states, and Adada has been in contention over years.
Okay, so two states. They didn't add the states that
No.
Oh, okay. So that didn't sell.
They didn't sell. They have Anim and Adada. These are the two states that will be presented. So I think we're beginning to, put ourselves in the right frame, because when we do things separately, it doesn't give us that force. People don't take us serious. But when we come together as one body with one voice, definitely people will take us, because we have all it takes. You look at the Southeast, and majority of the things you hardly see too many of federal presence. You see individual states and individual community presence. So we've done noble for ourselves. What is remaining is coming together, galvanizing ourselves. Just unity. That's what the Igbos need. Having one voice. If an Anambra comes out to do something, let the other states, carrying everybody along, let the other states support. If an Igbo man comes on board, let every other state support. So that is how things will work. But when an Igbo man comes on board, or a Bonny man comes on board, and there is division, the other people will cash into it and make sure that it doesn't see the limelight. So there are, I can tell you so many things that the Igbos have that have been untapped. If you go to Nigeria, we have a very long cement factory, the first indigenous cement factory in the southern region, which has been well done over the years. And now the governor of the Federation says he wants to resuscitate it, which is and this cement factory is owned by the 5 Eastern governors. But it's at Kalabu. So this is something that would even help you know, help in employment and all of those areas, you know, bring in worthy development. Now you go to Imo State, you see other palms. This is a palm where more than millions of palm where we excavate oils, palm oil. It's other palm. So there are a lot of things God has given to it. Innocent is there. Even in Ambassadorial, they have lead that you could use to produce matches. So there's so many natural resources that we have in the southeastern region, but it's because we've not really come together as a unity to be able to harness these things that will give us that formidable force to become a voice. Now we always rely on the center, which has not really fetched us what we want, because every time they believe that an Igbo man has all it takes to become great. I remember when Bill Clinton, Olusegun Obasanjo went to United States to ask for pardon some of the debt we're owing. Bill Clinton told him that I can only call 3 Nigerian men that can easily offset the bills. So we have what it takes as Igbos. We have it.
We do.
You know, we have what it takes. The issue is us galvanizing ourselves as a one body.
And coming under one umbrella.
Coming under one umbrella. That is what will give us that this. Then we don't go into negotiation power, because as it stands, you need to negotiate yourself to the higher stuff. Now you could see what the level of economic summit that Hope Uzodinma has put up together in Imo State, which started yesterday, and you could see the level of people coming in. You have Dan Kote, what he said. He's saying it because he knows what the capacity of an Igbo man. There is nobody who will turn his eyes over concerning an Igbo man. So that's the thing.
I like that you said that, because even the next question that I want to ask, you spoke about investment, and there's just been a long time debate surrounding investment, but local investment now, I think a lot of Igbos have had it bad with Igbos who reside in Lagos and Abuja, who go to those areas to invest heavily when it concerns buying properties, developing areas. There are places like the VP said in Abuja where you see the Igbos dominating. According to him, half of Abuja is dominated by Igbos. When you come to Lagos as well, they are also heavily dominated when you talk about properties, investments, and factories. But also there has been a faction of the Igbos who believe that investment they put outside should be brought back into Igbo land. So let's talk about that for a little, Reformer.
Okay, I think Mr. Sacramento have made, you know, he has actually mentioned salient points which I actually buy into to a very large extent. You see a situation whereby an Igbo man will acquire all the wealth and he travels to, you know, Lagos, Abuja, and other states to establish a business, you know, and leaving the southeast where he came from to establish one. And you ask, why is it that they are always going there? Is it that those businesses cannot be established down in maybe Imo State or Anambra State or the rest of them? Why exactly are they running away? And up to date, that information, I'm still yet to understand why they are doing that. But at the same time, it is still kind of sad that even though Igbo people are going to those parts of the states to go and establish their businesses, why is it that the government of those states are always infringing on Igbo's rights? We've seen a lot of demolitions of, you know, shops, offices, houses in Lagos, which are owned by Igbos. And you ask, what's this vendetta about them? If you ask some people in Lagos State, they will tell you Lagos is not your own, go back to your destiny. I think it's time for we Nigerians in total to understand that we are one at the end of the day. If somebody chooses to establish a business in Lagos, so long as the person has the right papers, acquire the right papers, let the person go ahead and do that. But Igbos too, I think it is high time for us to equally understand that our home is equally our home. We need to still establish a lot of things. That is why I'm giving some kudos to the Alex Oti of Imo State, the governor of of Imo
Abia
State, Abia State, sorry, giving some kudos to the governor of Abia State, kudos to the governor of Enugu State, who have taken it upon themselves to stay established and find that, I mean, apart from the fact that people are always vacating Enugu State or some eastern states to establish their businesses in other states, they've taken it upon themselves to grow their own state, which for me is quite remarkable. I hope other governors from other states in the southeast can actually emulate and grow the economy in their own state.
You know, talking about local investments now, there's another point as well that I'm going to speak from what Ifoma just said about demolitions, right, in places like Lagos, especially the past few months we've seen a lot of demolitions. So let's talk a little about that before we move over to what Bayona Nuga said.
Okay, I'm going to say two things. Part of what Ife has said.
Okay.
Those 5 Eastern governors are doing great. Alesote is doing well. Anambra State government has done vehemently. He has done something so many states has not done. You know what it means empowering? If you heard about 1 youth 2 skills, empowering youths, giving them funds to, you know, to become employer of labor in the state. Not taking it outside the state, becoming employer of labor. 8,000 youth has been empowered. It's a very massive one.
It is massive.
It's very massive. Under 3 years, he has done all these things. So we want to give kudos to them. Alex Oti, I saw him the other day, the way he has transformed Aba. Aba is a very massive place of economy.
Yes.
And he said, Aba, over the years, so many interest you. There's so many big men you will hear their name today grew up in Aba. So many investors that you had today that have gone to Abuja, all the majority of them started their investment in Aba. Now, Alesote wants to bring back that old glory. And that was why I saw him inside the market someday, where there's a line we call Bakassi line, where they produce shoes, bags, and traveling bags. And he walked around and said, I hope this shoe you produce, you wrote made in Aba. It shouldn't be made in anything. Now look at our problem as Igbos. One of the problems we have. Most of the times, we are not happy. I won't say happy. We're not proud of what we do. We want to always measure up with international standards. Now, you forget that international standard started from somewhere. Somebody invented it. And if international standard has grown, or international lifestyle has grown, Igbo man is involved in it. So it doesn't take us anything. Coming back up, if the likes of Aba has been here, people come from Cameroon, come from other West African countries to come and buy things in Aba till date, then it means that somebody telling me that I'm taking my business to Lagos because it's at the center that everybody comes there, then you are not telling yourself because the truth. That is the truth about it. Now, Onitsha market has been there over the years.
Yes.
And people come from different places, part of the world, to come and pick things there from Onitsha. So it shows us that we have not come to terms that we want to seriously make a high level of investment in our place. And that's why I want to appreciate all these governors that we have, the couple of governors we have presently, they are proud of their place. This is not about party. This is not about party. This is about people having vision, people trying to make things work for the Southeasterners. Enough of those then will go to Lagos to, look at the level of demolition we are talking about. Demolition, because most of that, we want to survive. We want to, dominate everywhere. Sometimes we go for the wrong papers. Sometimes we go for the wrong paper. Sometimes you think because we have somebody in the Ministry of Lands that that person will not give you backup. And at the end, the person collects this sum of money from you and give you a fake paper. That one is there. Then we have the ones that the government thinks we are outshining. Some people think we are shining them and brings the malice into play and destroy and vandalize our properties. So it's always, we are not neither here nor there, in things like that. So I think we should start making a lot of advocacy. Come back home. That's what the governor of Anambra State, that all the things he's doing now is that Anambra State must become not a departure lounge, but a place where people come in and see things for themselves.
Not a departure.
No, not a departure. Yeah, where you come in and you feel at home and do your investment.
Mr. Daniel, for so long, right, people from some regions, even the southeast, would move out of the southeast to seek for greener pastures.
Yes.
Yeah, they would do that to seek for greener pastures in places like Lagos, Abuja, mostly. Now, but do you think that we can get to that point where people would move down to southeastern states in order to seek for that same greener pastures?
Yes.
And what would it take for us to get there?
Yes, I think the governors in some eastern states are already making moves to, bringing those people back, and for them realizing that we can equally improve our own state. We don't have to be going to other places, because if we improve our state, generally to improve the economy, so it doesn't have to be always Lagos, Abuja and the rest of them. Our state equally matters. And I love the fact that I think I've said more about we coming back, or we realizing that our state equally matters when it comes to development. So I think it's time for us to realize that, and put more effort into growing our state.
Let me quickly add to what you just said. I saw a lady. She's somewhere in Anambra State, where she now have a ranch of cows. Yes, it's telling people to come and patronize her. Somewhere, they say somewhere in Abatete. That is a very massive one. I love that.
Yes,
you see, it's something that we should, if the government of the 5 eastern states makes it a point of duty, invest in people who wants to have ranch. This elder farmers clash is going to end. The Northerners now understand that before you bring down your cow now, you will think twice, because already we begin to have our ranches everywhere. So people should think into those aspects.
Yes.
Because these are the things that will curb the insecurity that is bedeviling everywhere. So this lady has now started hers, and I've seen it on social media, which is great. So the government should encourage people more. And that's why I'm saying, I'm giving kudos to the government of Anambra State. 8,000 youths empowered. Man, it's massive.
It is massive see. It is massive to see. And at the end of the day, what we're saying, for the longest time, Igbo people, especially the apprenticeship method that they use, the boy method that they use, which is now being studied even internationally, I think should now be reinforced, where not just from people but also from state governments as well, who would encourage people individually to just put back into them so that they can bring back something to their states. Now, just finally, we're going to take a look at a video from Bala, where he talked about the ambassadorial list that came out yesterday. So, Mr. Daniel, you were not here yesterday. We saw in the news that IGBOS was also mentioned as an ambassador.
Was there too.
Yes, Ambassador was there. So, interesting news we're seeing. But let's take a look at the video from Daniel Bala, and then we'll return to the studio.
So, with respect to the former Chief of Defense Staff and now being a minister and having a widespread support, is because he was in active service before now. He has never participated in politics. That's why I started by saying that the political environment is toxic. Somebody who has not been a politician will easily pass in the minds of the people. But if you have been involved in political activity in Nigeria, you must have stepped on nerves. You must have offended some people. There are people who will not want your progress. But above all, since these people exercise, when they are confirmed, they work at the pleasure of the president. It is up to the president to determine what he has to take.
I'm asking about competence.
Yeah, we see there is no statute or book that talks about a requirement for being appointed as ambassador. That's why you have career ambassadors who are in the embassies. They can advise, they can run diplomatic issues. An ambassador is a political position appointment which a president exercises. He can choose to bring a former diplomat. He can choose to bring a pure politician. It's just like appointing somebody as Minister of Defense. Until Buhari, all of the ministers of defense, they never had any military experience. They are pure civilians. So political appointment is different. Now, in terms of whether the people have participated in a toxic environment, I mean, if you look at where we always look up to as the model of democracy, this Marco Rubio that you're saying, if you see the things he said about Donald Trump, even in the primaries, then you come to J.D. Vance, you see them surrounded. In terms of appointment of INEC chairman, in America, there are justices of the Supreme Court. Donald Trump appointed them only because they gave a judgment favorable to the Republican ideology. That was his consideration.
Right? Because America did it doesn't make it right.
No, but I am saying the democracy was not handed by God. It came from them. So what we do is we modify where we can, and then where we can't, we then work with what we have.
Okay, I mean, you haven't answered the question, of course. So, like temperament, outbursts, so you're saying that there was no qualification around that
yes,
didn't matter when the president was appointed?
I think that the basic thing is you must be adjudged fit and proper. Now, that is generic. I mean, the definition as to whether somebody is fit and proper is subjective. Somebody can say, I like the temperament of this one. Another person can say, I don't like the temperament. There are people in government right now. You can also question their temperament. Now, your choice of rice might be different from my own. Maybe you want fried and I want pure white rice. But I'm trying to suggest to you, the bottom line is the man recruiting them. Whether these people would fit, because Section 5 is clear.
All right, we just saw that video. This is coming from Daniel Bwala on the latest ambassadorial list released yesterday evening. And on that list, we have former sole administrator of Rivers, IGBOS, on that list, and a host of others. Now, he is coming out to explain that the presidency has the freedom to choose who he wants on that list, whether they've been a politician before or non-politicians or career or not. But the fact that a lot of people saw IGBOS on that list, even just shortly after being a sole administrator, it raised a whole lot of eyebrows. But let me get to your comments, Mr. Daniel.
Well, the truth about it is that what, at least for the first time, this man is talking as if it's normal.
That's your namesake.
That's my namesake. The truth about it is that, yes, the president has right to choose whomsoever he wants to choose. IGBOS being there, it's not something we should raise eyebrow over. Remember that the government of Tinubu is settling loyalties.
Oh, okay.
You should remember that.
They are settling loyalties.
Settling loyalties and political friends. That's what we are all
It's our
saying.
ambassadorial list.
Now they'll have the career and the non-career ambassadors. So like this IGBOS and Dambaz, who was former chief of armed staff. These are people who, like Daniel has rightfully said, they are non-career ambassadors. So they are not the ones that are going to be running affairs of countries. Maybe they will be an ambassador once if they have something to just go to represent or something. So they are non-career. They are not the rightful people that will stay in the embassies, take emissaries and things like that. Maybe they just come in. It's like having a vice chancellor and a pro chancellor. Right. That's what it is. So, but the truth about it is that it's not something we've already seen. The level of appointments this present administration has been doing. It is 2 appointments, settling loyalty and political friends, and that is it. So the rest, you now count the few that are coming professionally to offer. They are very few. And what we should realize that it is not helping the level of unemployment in the country.
It isn't. It's
not really helping. So these are the angles where they should look at. Bringing in fresh ideas, fresh people, not recycling. We know there are people who are 60, who are 70, who are, very close to their grave. They are all being given appointments, and it's not good it's not healthy for Nigerian youth who ought to be at the forefront. But also the same.
Mr. Daniel, right? You mentioned the non-career and the career, but let's also take a look at what this is costing us. 62 ambassadors. Now
60
we have
68.
68 ambassadors. Now we have, for their payments, for their salary, we are looking at 800 to 1.2 million monthly salary, and now yearly that's like 9.6 to 14.4 million.
We borrowed money, no?
14.4 million yearly. Now this is excluding allowances, right? Allowances including housing, transportation, hardship and representation allowances, right? Now, and this is supposed to come from taxpayers' money. If we have people who are, like they said, non-career ambassadors and people who are career and the likes of, and we're using them to settle loyalists to the present running administration. How risky is that for us as a nation?
Mr. Sacramento have said everything. He said is their settlement. They've been loyal to the president, so it is time for him to give them the rewards that they deserve according to him. And in his defense as regards this non-career and career, non-career most especially, is more like to create a balance and for fresh perspective from these non-career ambassadors, which to me it does not really make sense. I told you that we have over 230 people living in Nigeria. You don't need to even scout for people with reputable characters to find them. They are there. They are in government houses, but they are holding, minute of offices in government houses. So why not bring those people up to the radar and see what they can do? And as regards the salary that we talked about here, all these things is added in taxpayers' money. And what hurts more is the fact that these people are not going to work. These people are just going to go there and disgrace Nigeria and the more, because they are more like a mirror to who the present administration is. What are they? They are full of lies. They are full of deceit. They are full of mismanagement. They need anything that surrounds negativity, give it to this present administration, and that is what we are going to see them representing us on the global stage. And then I'm going to talk, briefly on Daniel Bwala. For me, I really, to be honest, if not for the fact that I have to still be lending my voice on this, I will tell you that I will gladly skip anything that has to do with Daniel Bwala, because to me, he's an insignificant tool. I remember in 2023, he was campaigning heavily. He was spearheading the campaign against Tinubu, saying that Tinubu does not have any character, he does not have any integrity suitable for office. He was campaigning for Atiku at that time, but look at how he switched 380 degrees, or even more than 380 degrees. He's now a born supporter and what is it called, forerunner of the Tinubu administration. And you ask, what happens to the character of the Tinubu that you were questioning years ago? What happened to it? Why are you not talking about it here? Is it not yesterday that we talked on the afternoon show about where he was saying that in Goodluck's administration, that Tinubu was asking Goodluck to resign because of the Chibok abduction and the rest of them, and because of the fact that Goodluck was not able to stop or bring back those girls. And they were asking him, okay, what happens to now that we've had so many abductions? He's saying that no, that is not legitimate. You could see clearly that he's somebody that speaks from the two sides of his mouth. He can't even, tell you the truth, which is the same thing that we are talking about. Look at the people that the president is surrounding himself. But I'm not surprised, because these are the people that more like will protect him and will make him look as if he's working, but at the end of the day, he is not.
All right, thank you very much, Ifomaoji and Mr. Daniel Sacramento, for joining me on the conversation today. If you're joining for the first time, this is Morning Pulse, where we discuss Nigerian politics. And this morning, we went all the way from Imo State to Nigeria generally, where we saw the economic summit held in Imo State yesterday, a two-day summit that would continue today. We saw in attendance the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson. We saw the VP, Kashim Shettima. We saw Dangote in attendance, amongst many other heavyweights in politics in Nigeria over there. Now, finally, the statement from the VP that said that Igbos are the greatest contributors to national development and owning more than half of Abuja in terms of properties and infrastructures. But anyways, we're going to call it a wrap on the show. The conversation can still continue when you drop your comments in the comment section. Please follow us at Active Citizens across all social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done that already. You can find me across all social media as well at Sharon NM Chuku. I'm Julie Foreman.
You can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Miss Alex.
Mr. Daniel will always be in the studio. So we'll see you later today. Do have a good morning.